Hello, my name's Angela Dawn, and I just want to begin by saying welcome. I'm so glad that you're here and that you found us. What we're going to do today is another Sessions with Spirit video. What that means, if this is the first time you've come across one of these videos, is basically I got some decks of cards here, and I'm a channel. So we're going to see what cosmic information wants to be channeled through today. Let's see what comes up. Okay. Yeah, I'll show you the cards we got first. Card of the messenger. First, don't shoot the messenger is what I heard when I saw this one. So, okay, let's see what else comes out. We also have the card of lost lands. You cannot see. And they're so dark, but they're very pretty. Anyway, karmic relationships. Did you know that relationships are containers for growth? That's what they're there for. They're not there to keep us amused, keep us satisfied, keep us whatever it is that you do in what you feel a relationship is supposed to do for you. But really, they're just containers for growth. And sometimes they repeat themselves. Cyclical. That's what I'm getting. Okay, well, what do you want to talk about specifically with relation? I'm going to write that down. Relationships. With who? Personal relationships, familiar relationships, romantic relationships? Let us see. What about yes? Words don't follow. Be the leader you wish you had. Mm. Your relationship being a little bit more difficult lately. Remember, it's a container for growth. So we could judge them as just being difficult. However, not the great severing. Is there a cycle within a relationship that you're just done? Now, I'm not saying leave your relationship, not at all. But sometimes within our relationships, we get into these habits where we're really only what? Repeating what we know, which is usually trauma responses. So, not always, of course, but a lot of our responses, a lot of our reactions are actually just that. So, what new energy within relationships is trying to come in right now? But you're too busy wanting it to be, not wanting it, but kind of wanting it. If your relationship is going a certain way and you're not doing anything about it, are you wanting it to change? That's just a question. That's just a question. So, I need to see. Yeah, remember, just don't shoot the messenger. Okay. What else about relationships? I want to grab these ones for now. Oh, and if you do notice, I got this really pretty incense box. Um, just if you see kind of smoke was catching my eye out of the corner. So it's not a ghost. It is, I believe, called Sacred Ritual. Anyway, back to the scheduled program. What about relationships do we need to know in this? Throat chakra. Throat, communication. Okay, put that over there. I also have the card of joy and stability. How often are you preventing your own joy and stability because you're feeling, maybe you're using words like it's blocked? Not really be blocked though. So, but sometimes we just blame our throat chakra. Oh, it's blocked. That's why I can't speak my truth. No, you can't speak your truth because you're choosing not to. For whatever reason it is. Okay. What else? What are you? Saw this on the bottom and I didn't think it would go here, but didn't want to go back in the pack. So I got the card of lead and detach. Now, if I'm not mistaken, pretty sure this is the death card. Here's the emperor card. Okay, just a minute here. Can I just get another one, please? Why do I have detach and lead? Why were you trying to flow out? Flow. Okay, we have the card of flow. Trying to jump out. Feeling alone. Okay. So you got joy and stability, sadness and isolation. Two sides of the same coin, perhaps. Maybe. I mean, the circle looks a lot like these. However, what is it that you're wanting to experience within your container for growth? Both of these will be available to you. Okay. Why do we have these? What do you want to say? Earth, learning how to be human? Loosen your grip. You're coming here to actually learn this. Because really, remember, you're not human, you're spirit. Being human. You're a human being. Human being what? Well, that is up to you. I want you to discover that for yourself. Okay. Why do we have these? What? What is there to say? Yeah, I mean, so far, be the leader you wish you had. Literally, or lead, right? Are you leading your relationships or are you letting your relationships lead you? Who is the one that's actually in control? I'll tell you what, not the human. Learning how to be human. You're learning through these relationships. Here's another thing. We can sit here, romantic relationships is kind of the topic that I'm on right now. Although we're talking about, I think, the container of all relationships. But right now, I just want to focus on one part of romantic relationships. Maybe you are looking for one, right? Painfully single, words I've used for myself in the past. However, those moments when I was not in relationship, I'm not really even sure I was a person I would have wanted to be in a relationship with. But yet I was expecting, demanding, whatever, for somebody to want to be within that relationship. But I wasn't even anybody that I would have wanted to have been with. Do you follow what I'm saying? Like we can sit here and like want to be, we don't want to be alone. Okay, you're actually never alone. Just be with yourself. Try that. But rather, are you the person that you would actually want to be in a relationship with? It is just a question. And you can definitely apply that to more than just romantic relationships too, for sure. Okay, so let's grab some different cards here. I love these ones, but my gosh, my hand is like too small. Cards are too big. But we're gonna just figure it out. And if we shuffle awkwardly, that's okay. Forward and onward. That's where we're gonna go with this. But yeah, card of lovers on the bottom. What do you want? Card of choice. You always have a choice within your relationships. Always. Like, I'm just kind of getting some flashbacks of some of mine, particularly my first marriage, which was definitely a container for growth. That relationship taught me humility on a whole new level. But what, okay, I'm going to go, I think we're talking about romantic relationships here. Okay. Oh, twin flame. I'm sorry. I do mean to say it with that much sass. We don't really even understand what that is. The whole twin flame, and we seem to think it's a person. Now, oneness is inclusive. One is in the all is in the one. Okay. But you think there's only one soul that you're actually meant to be with in a romantic way. The twin flame, that's an essence. It's not a person. And it's an essence that goes from person to person. Okay. But it's not a person. And then not only that, I got a new cup. Also show you. But what was I saying with this? Hmm. And then we like expect these relationships to somehow complete us as if we aren't already whole. Like, do you see the self-defeating language that we use? And then we wonder why we're in certain situations. Language. Develop your holy language. You have one. Use it. Ask your soul for your holy words. And again, if you're new to me, I am not talking about religion with any of the things that I talk about. Holy, sacred, these aren't religious words. They're not. And we're going to take them back. It's like, take back the night, take back the words. Anyway, okay. What else is there to say about romantic relationships? What do we need to know? Is there something that you're not willing to look at? It's okay. I'm not sure if you can see it, but right here, these little blobs, that's pretty sure that's a bunny, and that looks like a greyhound dog. Okay. But this rabbit is being, yeah, no, the rabbit is being chased down the hill. The little predator here. Okay. So there's something happening here. We're gonna call this an event. What are you not willing to look at? What would you rather have your eyes covered than to move them and see what is right in front of you, trying to get your attention? Like, It reminds me of like the little girl who just does not want to see what's going on and just like lifts her dress over her head. What do you not want to look at? Like what are you hiding? What are you hiding yourself from? What are you hiding from yourself? What are you hiding yourself from? That's an interesting way that came out. I'm going to ask you, what are you hiding within your relationship? I'm not saying an accusation. I'm not saying anybody's done anything shady. Not at all. Not at all. But okay, so relationships, there's many levels to what a relationship, romantic, we'll talk about, right? Actually is, you know? Yeah. Where were we going to go with that? Hmm. Well, she'll come back or she won't. We'll see. It's just a thought that wasn't even mine anyway. So, okay. Right. That's what I was trying to say. What are you not wanting to see? So there's relationship. Okay. But we're about bringing the sacred into the mundane. That's what I'm hearing around here. Sacred relationship. A big component to sacred relationship is you have no private thoughts. It sounds scary. I thought it sounded scary, at least the first time that I learned about this. But it's more no private thoughts. Oh, what's wrong? Nothing can no longer be an answer with no private thoughts. You fucking know what's wrong. You know what's bugging you. Be an adult and say it because it's not going to change unless you actually use this. Use this. Okay. Also, if you want to go further, I'm being asked to go and get this. If you want to go further within your sacred relationships, we'll call them. Okay. I have a book for you. It's called the Magdalen Manuscript. Um, the Alchemies of Horus and the Sex Magic of Isis. Ooh. However, what it really is, apart from these two, it's a love story. It's a love story of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua ben Joseph, or Jesus, depending how you know him. Definitely, it's definitely a good book. Good book. Anyway, back to here. Yeah, you want to go back further with sacred relationships? Yeah. Anyway, okay. So, yeah, like you're in a relationship. How often are you're just micromanaging the whole thing? You're just like holding it real tight, this relationship, like this pen. Just I can't let it go. I can't let it go, or else allow your ego to fill in whatever or else is, but just loosen because remember, they're containers for growth, for soul expansion, for not just yours, but the other person or people in your relationship. Maybe you're in a polyamorous relationship. I don't know. But how are you expecting to let everybody grow if you're holding on too tight? And this isn't if you love something, let it go and it will return back to you. Not at all. That's a whole other teaching that we don't really need to go into today. But even this one, How often do you take your relationship and just compare it to somebody else's, knowing that they're not you, their partner's not your partner? How are you expecting it to be the same? So, yeah, and even going back to this whole in the world, but not of it, in the scope of the container of relationship, it can hurt. They can hurt. But what if you just didn't have to buy that hurt and take it with you? Okay, so my first marriage, there was a lot of abuse, we will call it. Yeah. I mean, that we'll call it what it is, right? And not in the I was just getting smacked around abuse, which is also not cool. It's not cool. It's not okay. I don't want anybody to be in that situation. But there was a lot of emotional, financial, there's some sexual abuse in that relationship. So I could have just taken all of that hurt and brought that with me. Like, here's my bags of hurt. I'm just gonna bring them with me into my next relationship and unpack all of this stuff, right? Or you just don't let what happened in your past be what's because like in here, she's kind of she's kind of in like a little bubble, right? So I mean, with me, for example, all of my past hurts in my relationships, I could have just stayed in here. Forget this. We are not experiencing that again. Or I can just trust that I'm not with the same person. You know what I mean? And not let that sully things for me is what I want to say. Different word, sully. But anyway, oh, what are you? Oh, the fool. I'm not calling you a fool. But within the scope of relationship, right now, what if forget everything that happened? Forget everything that happened, save anything that was abusive. Okay. You don't need to put up with that. What if you just started over right now? What if you allowed the relationship that you're currently in, if you're in one, reset, reset point? Forget the hurtful things that they said to you because you probably did the same thing back, right? When we're hurt, what do? We hurt those around us. What do you just start over? Just start over. Whatever that means to you, start over. Okay. Yeah. 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 So we got like the tower card, but all these that I kind of flipped over. We're gonna take this. I don't know how to say this, but I'm pretty sure that's the devil. Yeah. Sometimes these moments within our relationships are just destined to happen. And this doesn't mean a dissolving of the relationship necessarily. That's not at all where I'm going with this. But remember, containers for growth. How are you expecting to grow if you don't encounter these every so often? Now, of course, there is more than one way to expand, right? service to self or service to others. Let's see. What else do I want to say? Um, okay, what else do we got here before I keep pulling more cards out? Oh, yeah, conflict. Now, conflict doesn't have to be bad. We assume that it is. But conflict, catalyst, triggering yourself into mastery, soul mastery, not human mastery, polarity. Hmm. What else? What else is there to say about this? Softening to love. Okay. Did you know you're only ever seeing one of two things? You're either seeing love, you're seeing a call to love. What about just softening to love itself? Yeah. What does that mean, call to love? So, for example, a murderer. I'm not sure why this is the example I'm being given, but this is the example I'm being given. Actually, it really just makes sense. Because would you be able to harm another person in that way if you were embodying the love that you are? Conflict, anger, growth. Yeah, like I have conflict twice here under karmic relationships and under the great severing. Hmm. Splinter decided to join us if you can hear him walking on the floor. Okay. What else do we want to say about conflict within relationships? Have you ever noticed it's not usually about what you think it's about? I'm being quality versus safe problems. So basically, okay, I'll give you a little example of this. So we have a husband and wife couple, okay, in this story, this relationship. And the husband said he was going to do the dishes after supper, but then he didn't. And then the wife in here is mad that the dishes weren't done. Okay. That's a safe problem. All right. Because the bigger underneath the surface of that could be a belief. Perhaps in our story, the wife has a core belief. And these core beliefs, we got them from when we were children, right? Usually. Okay. And their love language is acts of service, right? Many pieces to this puzzle. So the woman, the wife, being mad at her husband about not doing the dishes, the quality problem is she actually wasn't feeling loved, appreciated, wanted, whatever it was, from the husband. That is the bigger issue that needs to be dealt with. It's not who does the dishes. Do you see what I mean? I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense. Because usually what we get mad about people is not usually what we're actually mad about. But sometimes we refuse to get mad about the things that we actually need to be mad about, that we actually need to allow anger to bring us to a resolution. Instead of like hiding from our anger or assuming that we just need to avoid it, put it over there. It's not dirty dancing. This isn't putting baby in a corner. Do something with your anger. It is needing movement. Movement. No. Movement to blossom. Movement for things to just come. It's your full circle. Actually, that's not even full. That one isn't attached. But anyway, put that one back down. I'm full circle. And then there's this whole thing that we do when we let our pride get in the way. What do I mean by that? Okay, well, you know when a relationship's ended its course, right? Like you know when it's done. But sometimes we let our ego get in the way because we've assigned meaning to things. We've assigned okay, we're gonna do a little exercise. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So just relax for a second. Okay. And I'm gonna say some words. And I want you to just answer to yourself, right? What comes next, what the meaning is. Okay. So just grab some tea here. Okay. So, you ready? I want you to answer with the first thing that comes to mind. Being a woman means, being a man means, being single means, being married means, being divorced means. Okay. See? Super quick. Did you let your ego fill those in for you? The meaning that you've applied to those words? Because it's those meanings that can either prevent you from making the choices that you need to make. I know somebody who their relationship, they have not been happy for years, but they don't want to be divorced. Surrender the ego. Yeah, anyway, these would be fun. Grab my Power of Surrender cards. And let's see. Is there anything that needs to be surrendered within a message in this reading? Romantic relationships. What could we surrender in our romantic relationships? Your attachment to results. What are your expectations within your relationship? If you don't know what they are, pause this video and find out for yourself. Ask your soul, what are your expectations of this relationship? Is there another one? There's another one. All right, let's take these three. And I think that's enough. Okay. Excuse me. Keep burping here. I'm going to read you kind of what it says on the bottom here because I know it's kind of hard with this. Still got to get this lighting figured out. So it says the formula for success is to do all you can to make things happen and then let go of the results. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome could sabotage it. And then we got surrender your desire to control people. Yeah. Being overly controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effective, can't read today. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. Final one, surrender defensiveness. Defensiveness is a sign of weakness. Well, that's just calling it like it is, isn't it? To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered and hear someone out, and then offer a clear, non defensive response. When you find yourself being defensive, what's behind that defense? Because really, are you expecting the person that you're with potentially to just be a certain way? Like, what are you defending with your defensive responses? The question, the question worth answering. What are you actually defending when you're being defensive? I can't tell you, and I think it's out of the scope of this reading to know, but you know. If you don't know, ask. Hey, soul, what am I being defensive over right now? Not wanting to fail. The answer I just got. What did you get? I wasn't necessarily thinking about my relationship, mind you, but I've been getting a little bit defensive about some of my business ideas about what I want to do next and where I want to go. So, anyway, you can watch that unfold as I figure it out. So, what else is there to say? I would like to start tying this all. Just breathe. We're going to start. We get this card a lot. So let's do that. Just breathe right now. Nice breath in. Audible sigh out. Let it out. Just breathe. But anyway, okay. Final message about romantic relationships. Love. Love. Remember, the lover, it's a call to love. What do you have to do to infuse love into any conflict you might be facing right now? We've got a lot of conflict and control cards. Is there something that you're having a hard time letting go of? Okay. Do you require, when this is you and your partner, that the other person be doing what you're doing, be working on what you're working on? Maybe you're in your healing journey. Are you demanding them to be in theirs? We do this quite often. And whether that's just because we don't want to go it alone, because we're judging that to be true. Yeah, the lovers twice here. I like when we get cards twice. I don't know. I find it fun. Really means they're supposed to be there, I think. But anyway, I wanted to go somewhere with that. Do you require your partner to be where you're at? Do you require them to be, if you're on an awakening journey, do you require them to also be? Just keep in mind You've done this before, right? You don't know who somebody is in spirit. You don't know how awake they actually are within their soul's constructs. They could appear to be the most asleep person that you have ever encountered, but you do not know that maybe that person has awakened multiple times over multiple incarnations, right? But now they're just playing a specific role to help you in your growth, your awakening, your expansion. Know Jesus for a second. You don't know who someone is in spirit? Do you really think if people knew who that being was, that's what would have happened? Think about it. You don't know who somebody is. That is why it is not your job to wake anyone up. It is not. Plus, who are you to do that? Because, okay, who are you to do that? Well, you are a fractal of source incarnating, learning to be human. But guess what, honey? So is everyone else. So is everyone else. Like, I'm going on a little rant here, but it's going to come out and that's fine. Like, we are such an entitled group of people. Have you noticed that? And you want to, like a fishing line, reel some of that entitlement back in. I'm not saying you don't deserve nothing, not at all. But what else did we want to say about that? Oh, right. Thank you. Background people and the whole misunderstanding of what that actually is. Assuming that somebody doesn't have a soul simply because you don't see it being there. And these people that are only there to serve your growth and you were special, but you're not that fucking special. Everybody is, right? So then just to assume that that's just a background player to help you go further in your growth and your expansion. You think spirit needs background players? We're all mirrors of each other. So I like that. Okay. Anyway, I think we found our title. So we had a final message, please. Final message. Tie this all in together. What do you got for me? Part of the heart chakra. Again, I like numbers. I really think I need to learn numerology, but that's okay. So we got a 4 and we have an 8, which is twice 4, right? Dedicated effort. What would it take for dedicated effort is what it's going to take. But specifically, you're going to have to find the sacred action for you within this dedicated effort to allow your relationships to live in your heart, to not live in your root chakra. Survival, right? What do you have to do to elevate your relationship so it's heart centered? Because if it's not, what are you doing? What are you trying to accomplish? If it is only, not only, But if it is for more growth within the container of relationship, okay. But it doesn't have to be as difficult as what we make them either. Okay. Let's, yeah. Are you comparing your relationship to somebody else's? Don't do that. Don't do that anymore. Just think for a moment and zoom back. If that's something that you've done, would you want to be compared to somebody else in the eyes of the person that you're in relationship with? Probably not. So if you're doing that, take another action. Okay. Get a final message, please, to just kind of tie all this in. Yeah, absorbing what's not yours. Comparison with other people. Put it down. Put it down. Please. We're asking you. Just put it down. Just remember, there's a mirror here. And we're all just mirrors of each other. So do you need yourself to be the exact same within your game of comparison? Or did you hear sovereignty? We all claim we want to be sovereign beings, but then we're expecting our relationship to be the same as somebody else's. But the one that you're in is the one that you need to be in for your own growth, for your expansion, for your own catalyzation is the word I want to say. Okay. Can I get one more, please? I don't want that many. Just one more. Hold the vision. It's happening. And then this one's at the bottom again. So we're just going to take this card. And it's just a card of healing. Physical and emotional healing. There's an opportunity for healing within the information that was shared today. You're going to take it? You don't have to. But you could. Okay. Can I get one final card, please, from this one? We're gonna inspired action. Yes. Yeah. What do you want to create? What sacred action do you need to do? Consult your intuition. Find your sacred action. What you need to do to revitalize your relationship, revamp them. The romantic relationship with yourself also. Don't neglect that. You know what I mean. Anyway, okay. That feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. Okay, so you want to go and give this video a like if you found it helpful, entertaining, however you found this session to be, would mean a lot. And it also shows me that you're being watched, that you want to see more things like this in the future. So I'm going to leave it at that. I wish you well. Happy exploring, and I'll see you later.